Namaskar, I am Professor Shilpa Jadhav from Department of Sociology, teaching at NG Acharya and DK Marathi College, Chembur. Today I am going to deal the paper number 4, Environment and Society, and in that the first chapter we are going to see approaches to the study of environment. In this we are going to see the different approaches to the study of environment. First, Marxian approach to the study of environment, Gandhian approach, ecofeminist, and the last one, environmental history. Objectives for this unit: introduce different sociological perspective to study the environment, to understand different approaches to environmental problems and their origin, to recognize environmental problems and deal with the solution through approaches, and last we can say identify and critically discuss the different approaches to the environment. Introduction part. Environment is very important in well-being of human being. All the living and non-living entities that surround man in his environment. Modern world marked by crisis envelop in man social and cultural life of man. Threats of environmental pollution, depletion of scarce natural resource, deteriorating ecological balance are the major issues related to our environment. Environment refers to quantity and quality of natural resources, renewable and non-renewable. It includes ambient environment, which include air, water, landscape and the atmosphere, and crucial determinant of human quality of life as well as supporting human life. Environment is outside world in which all we live. Being a part of it is cosmos. The cosmos has air, water, soil, sun, moon and other planets. It has planets, mountains, desert, rivers and ocean. Collectively they make nature. The nature to which we belong is environment. Thus, environment refers to physical surroundings and conditions. The next we are going to see the Marxian approach. The founder of Marxist perspective were Karl Marx and Engels. Karl Marx is the foremost theorist of capitalism as a social and economic system. Marx used the term mode of production to describe human relationship between human producers whom he saw as being divided by class. The mode of production changed historically, and with the developments of markets and manufacturing, feudal relations which tied people to the land which came under threat needed free laborers. The collapse of feudalism and emergence of capitalism meant that possession of capital, that is money, property and equipment, became as important as land ownership as a source of power and wealth. Thus, understanding of environment-society relation is the capitalist industrialism encouraged the move of the working population away from rural to urban areas and separated people from the land as their source of livelihood. Marx plays important role in the development of environmental sociology. Technology, consumerism, environmentalism and Marxism are, like all other aspects of capitalist societies today, and create conflict and struggle. Marx described his history as materialistic. Karl Marx was a thinker of actual material situation that frames people's lives they are in the process of changing. Marx was interested in what people do and what they think given the materials of social setting they have to work with. He attempted to understand capitalist production through the social process and relation that form it. It brings different approaches to different environmental crises. Karl Marx and Engels worked for materialistic ontology. Karl Marx's Capital is the theoretical histories of capitalism. Marxists consider of mode of production useful when classify society according to technologies and relation of production. The next approach we are going to see Gandhian approach. The life and work of Mahatma Gandhi have had considerable influence on contemporary environmental movement in India. This movement began with the Chipko Andolan in 1973. Some of the movement better known figures Chandi Prasad Bhatt, Sundarilal Bahuguna, Medha Patkar and Baba Amte. Mankind's encounter with environment is as old as the man himself. Scientists tell us that man is 3 million years old. For these 3 million years, man has survived his profligacy. Through his action, long affected his local environment. It is only with the advent of Industrial Revolution that the Industrial Revolution scope of the influence expanded to a global scale. The contemporary movement, the contemporary environmental crisis is thus the outcome of man's depletion of the earth. Struggle over the use of nature have a long history. The Kumaun Forest Movement of 1921, the Musli Satyagraha as a part of the prehistory of modern environmental conflicts in India. Thus, many movements trapped in the cloth of environmentalism and many of the methods by which community have resisted environmental degradation and external control of the natural resources fall under the overall fabric of Satyagraha used to denote non-violence resistance. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi 1869 to 1948 was central figure in the non-violent struggle of the last century. Mahatma Gandhi is known in history as a philosopher, saint and political leader. Gandhian concept of ecology and environment are scattered throughout his vast literature writing, speeches and letters. Thus, life and works of Mahatma Gandhi have had considerable influence on the environmental movement in India. From Chipko to Narmada Bachao Andolan of the present time, environmental activists have relied heavily on Gandhian techniques of non-violence or satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi was critic of modern industrial civilization. The present state of environment is the outcome of the application of sophisticated technology. Ecological changes started taking place in the structure of earth and an adverse effect on global environment. Scientific innovation and technological developments have given unlimited power to man to exploit the nature. With the credit of all achievements in the field of science and technology goes to man, at the same time he is responsible for the countless misdeeds in disturbing the ecological balance. Gandhi has foreseen the problem of environmental degradation and ecological decay are the end products of industrialization and high technology. In Hind Swaraj, Gandhi has characterized modern civilization as a disease and it will self-destroy. Gandhian ecology will be one that engages environmental issues on a practical level through non-violent means as a way to find ultimate peaceful and sustainable solution. Gandhian ecology not oppose environmental abuse through non-violence means. Example, Chipko movement. Active northern region of subcontinent. Sundarilal Bahuguna, best known for his Himalayan campaign known as the Chipko Hug the Trees movement, aimed at resisting environmental destruction, particularly by government agencies and corporate in which exploiting the hill regions. Another scene which has been drawing worldwide attention where non-violence resistant acts have used to raise awareness of environmental concern is the Narmada Bachao Andolan in southern Gujarat. Environmentalists led by the Medha Patkar have argued that 3,200 dams planned on the Narmada and the tributary rivers would cause immense damage to surrounding land mass, which would also lead to dislocation of 2,500 families in nearly 60 villages of tribal people who have lived along the river basin and maintained a healthy eco-community for countless generations. Thus, Gandhian spirit lives on. Among the variety of protest forms used by groups resisting environmental degradation, Pradarshan, collective show of strength by communities at the receiving end of environmental degradation by the peasant opposing commercial forestry or fisher folk protesting the ravages of trawling. The Pradarshan is intended primarily to demonstrate popular disaffection and strength of numbers. It shades a more militant form of protest, the dharna or sit-down strike. The dharna aims at stopping economic activities that threaten the survival option of resource-dependent communities. Example, it includes attempt to stop work at dam site or was Chipko movement, a large congregation in the forest to stop tree felling. A more sharply focused variant of dharna is the Gherao. Here a key authority figure, a senior bureaucrat or a politician is surrounded by the protester and heckled till he accedes to their demand or is rescued by the police. More militant still is the Rasta Roko, means road blockade. Whereas the dharna has narrow target, the Rasta Roko born out of more general disgust with state policy blocks channel of communication that may not even directly link to the objects of disaffection. The recirculation of a classic technique of Gandhian nationalism is the Jail Baro Andolan, means the movement to fill the jails. Protesters deliberately court arrest by violating a law, most frequently section 145 of the Criminal Procedure Code, used to prohibit large gatherings. The other forms of protest highlighted are collective. The Bhuk Hartal is the most preserved of one charismatic figure. The fast into death by widely respected popular leader is a coercive technique to compel the state to yield in the fear of the consequences of the leader succumbing to the fast. Environmentalist action group in India have thus utilized a varied and flexible repertoire of protest. These distinctive forms of struggle has already witnessed a major Satyagraha Yatra, that is struggle march for Narmada movement. Jal Samadhi means water burial, to immerse themselves in the rising water of the reservoir rather than be displaced from their ancestor land. Gandhian thought on environment is based on culture and Hindu religion. He was a great believer of non-violence and good wishes for all creature in the planet. He believed all living creature as a part of one living creature and everyone has equal right to enjoy natures. Next topic we are going to do ecofeminism. The term ecofeminism is divided into two words, eco and feminism. The term eco is related to nature or environment, whereas the feminism is related to women. Ecofeminism put forward the idea that nature and women are significantly related to each other in terms of their similarities that they display. Ecofeminism represents the union of radical ecological movement. The word ecology emerges from the biological science of natural environmental system, and it examines how these natural communities function to sustain a healthy web of life and how they become disturbed, causing death to planet and animal life. Human disruption is a cause of such disruption. Thus, ecology emerged as socio-economic and biological study in the late 60s to how human use the nature is causing pollution of soil, air, water and destruction of natural system including plants and animals, threatening base of life in which human community itself depend. The present state of environment is the outcome of the application of sophisticated technology. Ecological changes started taking place in the structure of Earth, an adverse effect on global environment. Scientific innovation and technological developments have given unlimited power to man to exploit the nature, with the credit of all achievement in the field of science and technology goes to man. At the same time, he is responsible for the countless misdeeds in disturbing the ecological balance. Ecofeminism began in 1970s as a political movement, spread throughout the world. Francois de Ebony developed the term ecofeminism in 1972. This is an umbrella term for a variety of different positions concerned with the connection between the unjustified domination of women, children, color of people, traditional people, poor people, and unjustified domination nature. Nature include all which is not human. Ecofeminism is based on the claim that connection between the exploitation and degradation of natural world and subordination and oppression of women. Ecofeminist sees the gender inequality as a resulting in a destructive relationship between humanity and the rest of the natural world. Ecofeminism describes the movements that link feminism with ecology. Ecofeminism connects the exploitation of domination of women with that of environment and argues that there is connection between women and nature by that come from the shared history of oppression of patriarchal society. According to feminist nature is feminist issues which include water, trees, animal, toxic and nature language. In 1974, 27 women of Reni in northern India took a simple but effective action to stop tree felling. They threatened to hug the trees if the lumberjacks attempted to fell them. The women's protest known as the Chipko movement, women-initiated movement, also gave visibility of two basic complaints of local women, that is, commercial felling by contractor damage a large number of unfelled trees, and the teak and the eucalyptus monoculture plantation are replacing valuable indigenous forests. The Chipko movement is about saving trees, especially indigenous forests. It is also important women-nature connection. Trees and forests are connected to rural and household economies governed by women. Thus, one of the important aspects of ecofeminism thought is that women have much different relationship to the environment than men do, and that they are more affected by ecological disaster and environmentally devastating practices. This became evident through several grassroots movements of the 1970s that emerged when women around the world responded to ecological disaster that were threatening their lives and families. Ecofeminism are also addressing issues such as reproductive technology and biotechnology that continue to marginalize poor rural women. Thus, ecofeminist draws connection between the oppression of women and the destruction of nature. The last part we are going to do environmental history. It is a kind of history that seeks to understand of human beings as they lived, worked and thought in relation to the rest of nature through the changes brought by time. The changes that made by human in environment have in turn affected our societies and our histories. Environmental historians tend to think that the avoidable fact that the human societies and individuals are interrelated with the environment. Environmental historians should see the human events within the context where they really happen, and that is entire natural environment. The environmental problems that received global attention during the last 40 years of the 20th century. Environmental historians that helps to understand ways that humans have in past caused them, reacted to them, and attempted to deal with them. One important contribution of environmental history has been to turn the attention of historians to topical environment issues that produce global changes such as global warming, altering weather patterns, atmospheric pollution and damage to the ozone layer, the depletion of natural resources including forest and fossil fuels, the dangers of radiation spread by nuclear weapons testing, and accident at nuclear power facilities. Worldwide deforestation, extinction of species and other threats to biodiversity, the introduction of opportunistic exotic species to ecosystem far from their region of origin, waste disposal and other problems of urban environment, pollution of rivers and ocean, the appearance of wildness and loss of amenities such as natural beauty and access to recreation and environmental effect, warfare, antagonistic. This include weapons and agents intended to impact the resource and environment. Thus, environmental historians has given attention to these contemporary problems, but they also realize the relationship between human and the environment has had a formative role in every period of history from the ancient time onward. The theme of environmental history categorized in three broad themes. The first theme, the influence of environmental factors on human history. The second one, the environmental changes caused by human action and many ways in which human cause changes in the environment rebound and affect the course of change in human societies. The third theme, the history of human thought about the environment and the ways in which pattern of human attitude motivated action that affect the environment. Thus, the environmental exploration is conscious human relationship to the natural environment with the past. Ramchandra Guha pioneering research deserve its preeminent position in the environmental history of India. The summary of the unit: many new movements regarding environmental preservation made role model of Mahatma Gandhi in terms of non-violence. Both Marx and Engels were deeply interested in nature. Engels chose to write man as a part of nature, and a number of social environmental movements have emerged in these areas. These movements are small and often based on participation of the people concerned. A regard ecological and environmental movements is over the preservation, the control and use of natural resources like water, forest, land. Ecological movements are concerned with the preservation of environment and maintaining of biodiversity, extinction of species, etc. Thus, the environmental history study how human agency shape and modifies nature and construct built environments. Environmental history is the history of the people, planet, and other species of life. There are some questions for your self-study. Discuss Marxian approach to the study of environment. Analyze the Gandhian environmental thought. What is ecofeminism? Explain how it is related to environment. And the last question, describe environmental history.